97.3 Cirie and Vinny, Alice's morning show. We are so excited to welcome the legendary Survivor player Ozzy to the Alice studio. You can watch him live right now by heading to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/@RadioAlice973. We even got you your own camera. You rank. Hello, Ozzy.
You rank.
He ranks.
Good morning,
all
San
the people
Francisco.
we've had on, and Ozzy's the one who gets us a camera in that position.
Oh, is this a new thing?
Yeah, it is.
Oh,
it's new,
wow.
just
I
for
do
you.
feel special.
You should.
I think the first time I've ever been on live radio feels good. How's my radio voice out there, everybody? How's my radio voice?
You
San
sound
Francisco?
good.
It
Hey.
does sound good. What do you mean it's the first time you've ever been on live radio? Don't be silly.
No, for sure.
Really?
Yeah, I'm ticking one of those bucket lists off my.
So you've done interviews, tons of them, but they're all pre-recorded.
I think so, but after 5 times on Survivor, it's been 20 years. My memory is getting a little cloudy.
Well, it seems like this is sort of a homecoming for you because we've been talking to you for the last few minutes while we were listening to Taylor Swift. And you were telling us that you didn't grow up totally in this area, but spent a lot of time here. Went to the bad kids school after getting thrown out of a couple high schools down Los Altos way, right?
Yeah, that's right.
And
right.
And then that you would come up to and prowl around San Francisco, and it turned you into a foodie.
Oh, yeah, for sure. So, yeah, just a little shout out to the Los Altos Eagles. Let's go. Class of 99. And I went to a little bit of 8th grade at Graham High School, junior high. And, I got kicked out a few times when I was in high school, was not the best at showing up, especially when you have to deal with a bunch of slower kids. I like my learning pretty fast paced. So I went and lived in Idaho for a little while, and then I went to.
What did you learn in Idaho?
Let me tell you what. Going from high school in the Bay Area to a little tiny mountain town high school of 200 kids in Idaho was an amazing experience. I was like the cool California kid that came in. So it was a lot of fun. I really loved Idaho.
Did you have family up there? Is that why you ended up there? Or
my dad was a professor at Boise State. So my mom was like, I don't want to deal with this truant anymore. Let's send him up in the mountains, see how he likes that. Well, tell you what, Mom, I loved it. It was amazing. And then I came back for my senior year and immediately got kicked out again. I had to go to Alta Vista at Mountain View. But it was, high school was a lot of fun. And I was just telling you guys, my first concert that I went to, snuck out, I think, was 16 years old, went and saw Green Day perform Dookie at the Fillmore. And
that's epic. That's an epic first
That
show.
is unbelievable.
It's cool because Green Day is still kicking ass out there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
We start this show every day with Green Day.
Yep.
Oh, really?
It's the first song we play every day.
It gets us in the mood,
What
it's Green
song?
Day. Whatever
Different songs.
song.
Always different songs.
Always
doesn't
Green
matter.
Day?
Yeah,
Right.
always Green Day.
Wow.
Yeah.
Look at that.
On
We're
Fridays, we
disconnected.
throw in a Van Halen song as well because we're fans of Van Halen.
Little jump.
Yeah, well, sure.
All
But,
of the stuff.
right.
Yes, absolutely.
All
But
right, I know
every
what
single
you
day
guys were
it's a-
into. A little Van Halen. I know what you guys were into when you were younger.
Yeah, you do.
Yep, you do.
So let's go over your resume real quick because we have a million questions
Yeah.
and a bunch of people have texted in with questions as well. But so you are on how many times on Survivor?
This is my 5th time on Survivor. 5th time.
And this
Was-
is our first time ever having someone who is actively involved and still on a season. Usually we don't get you guys until you get kicked off.
Yeah.
Is this a contractual violation?
Who knows? Jeff
You didn't ask.
Jeff might be spitting out his coffee right now. Luckily, I don't think we're in the LA market, so chances are we're going to be able to keep going a little while, but we might get some angry phone calls. Get him off the air now. He's going to spill something.
Yank him out up there.
Yeah.
Well, this has become, and we talked about it earlier, as a person who's played the game 5 times, and I don't know how many times have they asked you? 10? Or is that each time they ask, you're like, I'm in. Let's go.
So sometimes what happens is you start going down the process. They ask you to, they say they're interested in getting you on a show. And, you start doing the process, and then all of a sudden you get halfway through and they're like, you know what? We're going a different direction. So that's happened to me one time, but that was a Heroes Villains season. And so halfway through, I was doing my wardrobe, sending that stuff in. They pulled the plug on me, but they said, listen, we're working on something else, so just stay tuned. And I was so upset. You get that big old carrot dangled in front of you, your mouth starts watering, you start thinking about.
I mean, carrots are so delicious.
Oh, you gotta get that fiber, And they pulled the plug, and I was so upset. But a couple months later, they said, all right, we got the next thing for you. And that was the captain's season. So that was the season that Coach and I played in South Pacific. So it actually led to a better situation for me. I didn't have to share the screen with a bunch of other Survivor superstars. It was just Coach and I dueling each other.
You guys were the only returning players that year. I don't remember how that one went.
Yeah, so they call those captain seasons.
So
I don't know how many they've done. I don't think there's only been a few. Like Sandra and Rob did one.
Yeah.
They were kind of like
they were like advisors though.
Advisors. They weren't really part of the. They weren't
like
competing.
A school
really.
pick'em or something.
Yeah. So this was Coach and I had our own tribes, and then it was like, let's see what happens. And that season, I got 4th place. My mind went blank in the final challenge. I lost. I couldn't get into the top 3, and unfortunately, Coach he didn't pick up the softballs I was trying to throw him, and he stuck to his I'm the honorable dragon slayer, and he lost the season. And Sophie came in clutch and was able to pick it out of his clutches.
Do you relive the horrible moments because you haven't won? I mean,
that's
unless
true.
you won this season, which we do not know now.
I am actively still alive. My torch has not been snuffed. But you never know. They've been coming for me since day one, and we're getting deep in the game, and this is when it starts getting scary. Yeah.
Well, you're like an obvious pick, especially once you get to individual immunity. Like you got to get Ozzy out of there because physically you're going to kick everyone's ass. And when you're on a team, though, you want Ozzy because he's feeding you and he's helping you win the challenges. So we are getting to the tougher part for you. You're doing great this season, though.
Oh, thank you. I had to change something up.
Yeah. You definitely are working harder on relationships with other people, which I've seen you just go, no, I'm going to honestly answer everybody, and I don't care whose feelings I hurt. And I thought, oh God, Ozzy, I don't know. You've got to be more diplomatic than that. But this season, you're doing pretty well, and you and Cirie seem great together.
Yeah, Cirie, she's one of those people because I've played with her so many times in the past. I was honestly so intimidated by her stature, intimidated by her skills and abilities, and was never really able to connect with her on a level. But over the years, we became friends. And honestly, something that a lot of people didn't know is after Micronesia season, we got invited to go to Afghanistan as part of a USO tour.
Oh, my
that's
God.
pretty cool.
So, Eliza, Cirie, and I, we went to tour probably 15 FOB bases and the big Bagram Air Force Base in Afghanistan, probably in the year, 2009 or so. So in the height of the quote-unquote war in Afghanistan. And that was a pretty bonding experience,
so
being out there and going through that
as close friends.
I wouldn't say close friends because Cirie and I are in a different generation, but she's one of those people that I know if I needed anything, I could call her and she'd be there. So going into the game is immediately when I had a chance, I wanted to connect with Cirie because I knew that I just don't have, I might be learning how to play the Survivor game in a different way, being, more interested in people. I guess that's a thing. So Cirie's one of those people that she could shore up my inequities and, the things that I was not able to do as well.
Well, that's what's good about being on a team. And actually, we should say, again, we're talking with Ozzy here in the studio. We're so excited. We are a huge fan. All of us, we all watch Survivor every week.
Every season.
Every season.
Like all of it.
And season 50 is completely epic. And of course, you were invited back for that one. You are doing a thing here in San Francisco with a couple of other players, Wendell and Bryce, from different seasons. And it's a watch party, yeah?
Yeah, that's right. So I'm so excited to be up here back in my, my old stomping grounds. So Bryce and Wen presents. They are two players that have played Survivor. Wendell won his season. Bryce is just an amazing human being and character on the show as well. And they've been doing these watch parties for a number of years. And if you are lucky enough to be in one of the cities where they do a watch party, I highly recommend you go and see it.
So they tour it around, and you need to be on the
lookout. They do a watch party in a new city every single week. Uh-huh. So this year, because I'm on the show, we're kind of splitting up, and they're doing a watch party in one city, and I'm doing a watch party in another. And so I happen to be, they were here in San Francisco a number of weeks ago. I'm back. So we're doing a watch party at Buzzworks in the Soma area. I don't know the exact address, but it starts at 6 o'clock, and there are still a few tickets available. It's a big venue, but we will most likely sell out. So if you're in the area, I would recommend you get on the old internet or figure out how to get some tickets ASAP, because we will sell out. Jerry Manthe, who's one of the most legendary players.
Fire spinner, baby.
She is gonna be DJing, and when she's DJing, you'll be shaking that booty.
No,
this is Wednesday night,
right.
6 p.m. it starts. So there's gonna be a bunch of other Survivor players there as well. I don't want to give it all away, but you're gonna have to get your ticket and come down and hang out with us and watch the show, rubbing shoulders with some scrawny players that have played before.
Flightcity.com is where, and it's on our Facebook page, by the way, so you can get your tickets there. It's FLITE city.com. So that's tomorrow night at Buzzworks in San Francisco. And you, Jerry Manthe, and others from the Survivor.
Yeah, we got a bunch of friends.
Sphere.
So if you just search Bryce and Wen Presents, you'll find it. It's pretty easy. And yeah, I'm really excited because it's nothing like, it's almost like going to, watch yourself play in a sports game and somehow watching it live, but with all your fans and all your friends. It's just it's an electric experience. And obviously there's things that fans can ask you that you can kind of get away with telling them. That's not a spoiler, but it's just a little inside information on how the game goes, or insights into, I was talking to Christian and actually he said this, or Cirie and I were talking about this. It didn't make it on the air because, there's hundreds and hundreds of hours of content that happen, but only seconds or minutes of it make it onto air. So,
right. Well, 1 hour for every, and they must have a camera on pretty much everybody at all times, right?
Yeah. Unless you're doing your business in the woods,
they leave you alone for that.
They will sometimes leave you alone for that.
I thought that was an ocean thing.
Well, that's big controversy. Are you a water person, or are you going out and using leaves or your hand? I learned this for the first time that I think that Ethan and Tyson, they just would use their hands, like straight up, and then just go, wash their hands off in water. And I'm like, that is
not clean enough.
Well, that's very intimate. I think it's actually probably more hygienic than rubbing leaves around down there. But for me, I'm jumping in the water. I'm doing the water release, the water snake, as we like to call it.
Boy.
Oh, is that what we like to call it?
I like to call it the water snake because you got to watch out, because sometimes they'll come back and try and bite you.
The first time you play the game, you go into a blind, you don't know what's going to happen or how you do, and you end up being really good.
Yeah.
But now, let's say you're going into this season. Is there a different prep now that you know what you're going into? Do you pack on pounds? Do you it doesn't matter? Nothing's going to get you ready.
Pack? What are you trying to say? Pack on pounds?
Well, you're not going to eat. You're telling me you don't prepare by binge eating?
That is part of it for sure. I do recommend, if you're a beanpole, you go in there, you definitely got to pack on some calories, because you start losing weight quick. Like, regardless, even if you're the best survivalist out there, that first week, it's really hard to get food because you haven't won. Sometimes you don't win the equipment necessary to go spearfishing. And all there really is to eat is coconut, and that you eat enough coconut and it just goes right through. It's actually quite a nice little cleanse.
I was going to say, I've heard that it will actually give you problems down there.
Well, we like to call the problem is the solution. People pay big money to get their plumbing cleaned out like that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? We call it the cocoa butt. So you eat enough coconut and it's just in and out, baby.
And competing on an empty stomach, it's like, do you find yourself saying, if I had food, I know I would kick everyone's butt here, but everyone's starving. It changes the competition entirely, or no, you're good?
I think
you get used to it. I
think that's one of those things that I recommend to. I know that Savannah, who was an amazing winner, she just won 49. She talks about it a little bit in her training. Is that she would train sort of in this fasted, and I think that's really smart because if you're not used to being hungry, it can mess with your mental clarity or mental ability. But I believe that we eat too much in general. So going out on Survivor, having a chance, there's all these wellness nerds out there are talking about autophagy and this, you go fasted and your body starts to eat all those dead zombie cells. And it's like, we've been on this for a long time on Survivor. And I think that it's actually really healthy to go through these phases of fasting.
We're talking with Ozzy, who is currently starring on season 50 of Survivor. What is the difference now with this shortened, no food given to you at all game compared to the 39-day game? Is that the only other ones that you've played? This is your first sort of new way.
Yeah, this is my first time playing a 26 day season. And I'll tell you what, I'd rather play 26, but I'd much rather watch people suffer for 39 days. There's a big difference. And you don't need to eat for 26 days. Or most people don't need to eat for 26 days. You'll be completely fine. It's all mental. It really is. It is all mental.
Do you know how many people, myself included, watch you guys play this game and think to ourselves, I'm grumpy after about 4 hours without food.
Yeah.
Like grumpy, like kind of starting to get that, like, man, I better get something. And I would imagine there's even times when you guys are, because you're stuck with each other, where you just are like, give that person the food so we don't have to hear it anymore. The grumpiness, the crankiness.
Oh, yeah. That is part of game design. The design of the game is to put you in a position where you are uncomfortable. You're not sleeping at night. You've got rain dripping on you. There's the bugs aren't even a huge factor. They will get you at night. You'll get bit up by the mosquitoes. But once you start getting a little uncomfortable, then the slightest annoyance turns into a really big deal. And you're willing to vote someone off because they chew with their mouth open, or they breathe through their mouth, or they're a close talker, or cue any of the other Jerry Seinfeld isms.
We don't have that much time left, so I want to do a quick speed round, and then I want to turn to our the questions that people have texted in.
Yeah, let's go.
You can watch right now. Ozzy is live in the studio with us. The only Ozzy left, by the way. I mean, you're the Ozzy now.
I guess so. I mean, we don't like to talk about Dr. Oz. I don't think he really counts.
And he's not an Ozzy.
He's not. Yeah. No, he's not. So I've got the market cornered on Aussies.
You do. All right, I'm going to say a name. You just say the first word that pops into your head.
Oh, I'm kind of scared. All right,
Don't be scared.
Go.
Cirie.
Amazing.
Jeff Probst.
The king.
Rizzo.
The little prince in the making.
Coach.
Oh, Dragon Slayer.
$1 million.
Well, that's like pocket change now.
It is compared to like even 26 years ago when this game started, right?
Inflation, baby.
$1 billion.
You know what? Yeah, like we got to bring that up to like 10 million nowadays.
I have often wondered because what is their intent? They do it all in one place now. It's always in the same place on the same islands.
Yep, Fiji.
And so what are their production costs? Like, kick that prize up a little bit, right? $5 million at least, right?
Yeah, I think that's one of those things that as the show evolves more and more, maybe that's something that they start to look at, because they have been really smart about cutting those costs. And it is, like you said, it's always in Fiji now, which is, I think, a great thing.
Yes.
I wish that they moved, but at the same time,
it's a great setting.
To see what they do for the Fijian community is incredible. They really are super caring, and the local community just absolutely loves them. And I think it's a really good thing for Fiji.
But there's no shortage of contestants at the current prize amount. So
that is true.
Yeah, and it's probably still one of the highest amounts that you can win on a reality show. A lot of them are like, $50,000, $100,000, $500,000 split between two people. So $1 million still sounds like a lot, but come on, baby. Let's up that up a little bit.
Yeah. What you just said brings to mind. So we would love to see you on Big Brother.
Yes.
If they tried to get you.
Oh God, I would never.
Why
Unless that's like a 10 million, because you have to.
$750, I think now.
You're locked in a house for 100 days. I talked to Cirie about it. She did it, and she made it to like 90 some days, and she's like, "That was the hardest thing I've ever done. I do not recommend that." So I'm scared. I don't think I could do that. But
really?
It'd be fun to try. But they're also filming 24/7.
The Gladiator. You did the second season of American Gladiator?
American Ninja Warrior.
That's what it was.
I was like walking down the beach in Venice Beach, and they had these tryouts, and I was like, "Hey, I was on Survivor." They're like, "All right, go ahead and try." But I didn't do that well. I was a little, honestly, I was a little hungover, so probably not. Wasn't my best showing.
All right, let's turn to our texters and see what the listeners have to say.
Got a couple questions along the same lines. Please ask Ozzy if Coach is a douche in real life, or does he just play a bad guy on TV?
Oh, I wouldn't say Coach plays a bad guy. I think Coach is one of those he's just an incredibly interesting character. And say this about Coach, he knows how to make amazing TV.
Yes.
I love Coach in real life. In real life, he is the warmest, sweetest, most caring person, and he plays it up. And listen, we're here to watch. You're here to be entertained, and Coach entertains.
We were talking about this just the other day, how there are people who you're like, get that guy off the show, and then they're gone. You're like, oh, I kind of miss the drama.
I think that Coach is just one of those people that he knows that the spotlight's on him, and he really flourishes. So I love seeing Coach, and I love playing with Coach, and he's a hard player to play with because he does get a little over the top, but we love the Dragon Slayer.
You guys were competing for one. That was the first thing we saw.
Yep.
Right out of the gate. Oh my God. Coach is such a D.
The whole honesty and honor thing, though, that always annoys me. It's like, you're on Survivor. Lie, cheat, steal, do what you have to do. Make it to the end.
Yeah, I agree with you. But at the same time, it's like, how do you get people to trust you? You have to, there's got to be some element of trust.
He's singing a song.
You've got to have some element of trust. Otherwise, if just everyone is, stabbing each other in the back, then that gets boring too. So there's got to be a little bit of it. But,
loyalty.
That was, for me, that day one situation. I think that was an opportunity that Coach missed out on. I think that he could have said, you know what, I got the key, but let's talk about it. Let's come up, I'm not going to take this key unless you want, So in that situation, I would have been down to work. There was a missed opportunity to make a really nice alliance. And because he just said, you know what, I'm going to take this key, I thought to myself, if he's going to take the key day one, then when it gets down to it, he's going to be stabbing in the back as fast as possible.
He's going to know what he has to do.
707, huge fan of Ozzy. Loved watching him on season 50. If you could start the season over again, what's the one thing you would change about your gameplay?
Oh, man.
That's a good one.
If I could start the season over again, one thing that I would change about my gameplay is I would really try my hardest to get in better with Emily Flippin immediately. I think she's a really underrated player. She's incredibly smart. She's obviously not very good at lying. And we just got off on the wrong foot immediately because I was kind of gunning for her, kind of. I mean,
you felt like she was disposable.
It's not that she was disposable. She just is she's like a little squirrely. She's squirrely. She's like, it's like trying to catch a crab on the beach. It's a little difficult. So I would really try to connect with her immediately, because I feel like, as well as like Christian and Devins, they bonded so fast, and like, I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little jealous of their Captain Kirk and Dr. Spock thing. I wanted, I could be like Rolf or
cute.
Something like
Dr. Scott.
Yeah.
We touched on this, but Susan and Napa asked, if there is a reality show that you would go on, what is the one reality show you'd like to go on?
Oh, yeah. Well, I don't know if anyone's seen Alone out there. But
yeah.
That is
that's great.
That is I think, creme de la creme of survivalist shows. You go out there, and granted, it's in the freaking coldest place in the world, but if there was one that was maybe a little more tropical, Alone, I think, would be my choice. I think that one really proves your mettle when it comes to your survival skills.
415, what do you think about the new style players versus the old style players at Cindy and Marin?
Listen, you can't beat old school, baby. We set up the foundation.
I agree.
We showed these young kids how to play. And granted, they might be flashy, but I think a lot of times they play way too hard, way too fast, and they don't, they're willing to throw some of their relationships away immediately, when in fact, I think that's one of the things that is missing. We talk a lot about honor and integrity, and maybe that is something that gets used way too often, but you still got to have good relationships. And I think that, throwing people under the bus day one is sometimes going to come back to bite people.
Do you watch when you're not on? The seasons that have gone by where you're not part of it, are you watching that as well? Because one of the things they've done in a few seasons back, they did this sort of trivia-based Survivor stuff. As a person that's watched every episode, it looked impossible to me. Like, how are they getting these questions? Could you have done that?
No,
I don't see enough of it.
I could not. Listen, I do watch the show, but some of that trivia is just a little too granular for me. You're not, unless you're like a Rain Man Riz God type of player, which he literally, like, you could ask him the boot order of season 16. Or, well, it's my season, so I probably should know the boot order of that. But you could ask him the boot order of like season 9, and he'd be able to list it off. So,
they're like students of it. Some of these people.
Yeah, and I think that's also one of the things that people get annoyed about, is that you got too many Survivor nerds playing the game. And it's like, yeah, we want fans to play for sure. You want people that love the game, but like, get some people out there that are a little more like normal, everyday blue collar worker types of. You don't just need to have a handful of like Carsons out there that have been practicing every challenge that's ever been and just like ace everything. Like, that's also gets a little annoying.
I was shocked to see they were making puzzles at home so they could practice puzzles. I thought, that is cheating. That's crazy.
It kind of is, but it does put the onus on John Kierhofer and Jeff Probst. Come on, guys, start changing it up a little bit. Let's get some new challenges in there. You can't just be reusing challenges. Like, some of them for sure, the hanging on the pole one, that's a classic.
Yep.
Like, that's a good one.
That's the thing, is a rub between the classic and introducing something new, something that they already know definitely works, and they can just change it a little bit.
Exactly.
Makes
but
sense
you
for
can't
them.
be doing the same puzzles season in, season out, because that does create a situation where you have people able to quote unquote cheat.
Ozzy, time flies when you're having fun. In fact,
Oh my gosh,
we're actually really late. You're amazing. Anytime you're in San Francisco, you have a pass for the front door downstairs.
Oh, amazing.
We would love to have you. The event tonight, this is what you're here to plug, really, although, we feel like you're just here to hang out with us, right?
Oh, I've been having a great time.
The event is tomorrow night. Bryce and Wen present. It starts at 6 p.m. So there's like a little meet and greet kind of a deal. Everyone's hanging out beforehand. It's at Buzzworks in San Francisco.
Yeah, if you are a fan of the show, it's an amazing experience. Come on down. I take pictures of each and every single person. I give everyone a little FaceTime, so you can ask me questions that that you've always been thinking about, and I'll be there from 6 o'clock until we close down the joint. So Jerry Manthi's going to be spinning. She's an incredible DJ. She's one of the queens of Survivor. I'm so excited to be here in San Francisco, and come on down and watch Survivor with me.
You can get tickets at flightcity.com, and we put the link on our Facebook page, FLITE city.com. Really, anytime, Ozzy, come on back. This was really fun. and we were all so excited. And you know, they say don't meet your heroes. But today we met a good one. Thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you so much. You guys are the only people that can get me up at what is this, 8 o'clock in the morning? This is crazy.
Thank you.
What? Wake up! Thank you with Sarah and Vinny.
Ding 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 ding.